Imagine a dragonfly with a wingspan almost as wide as a small bird. Sounds like something from a monster movie, right? But giant insects actually existed. Around 300 million years ago, during the Carboniferous period, Earth's atmosphere contained much more oxygen than it does today. Some ancient dragonfly relatives could reach wingspans of around 70 centimeters. So here's the mystery. If insects could become that big once, why don't we see giant insects today? The answer isn't simply that evolution made them smaller. The biggest clue is hidden in the way insects breathe, and that's where things get really interesting. Unlike humans, insects don't have lungs. They breathe through tiny openings called spiracles, connected to a network of tubes called tracheae. Oxygen travels through this system directly toward their tissues. That works extremely well when you're small. But as an insect gets bigger, moving oxygen far enough through this system becomes increasingly difficult. And there's another problem. The atmosphere changed. Oxygen levels eventually dropped from the unusually high levels of the Carboniferous period. At the same time, ecosystems changed, predators evolved, and competition increased. So being enormous became much harder to sustain. But oxygen probably isn't the whole story. And there's one more important reason modern insects aren't walking around at the size of dogs. Why we don't see them today. An insect also has to support its body using an exoskeleton, a hard outer shell. As the animal gets larger, its mass increases much faster than the strength of structures supporting it. That makes extreme size increasingly difficult. So ancient giant insects probably benefited from a combination of higher atmospheric oxygen and different environmental conditions, while modern insects face much tougher limits. And that's why you can have a tiny dragonfly flying effortlessly today, but not one the size of an eagle. The fascinating part is that giant insects weren't impossible. Earth simply had conditions that made them more achievable. So the next time you see a dragonfly, remember, millions of years ago, its distant relatives could have looked absolutely enormous. Sometimes, the size of an animal tells you just as much about the world it lived in as the animal itself.